Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy, and this is the Ask Videomail for the week of November 19th, 2012. Welcome to the site to all you new members, and welcome back to the old. The Ask Videomail is your chance to get your question in character, animation, or performance answered in a video, just like this one. But I need your question if I'm going to answer it. So please send your questions to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it's the best way to get the most out of the site. Like I said, welcome. I hope you are finding the site useful, and if you're new here, definitely go around and check out all of the resources that are here at your disposal, including the articles and the forums. They are really useful. When I was starting my animation training, I basically had a forum, and that was basically it. That was all the resources that were at my, available to me when I started. And I pretty much credit posting on a forum every day with a huge part of how I was able to learn CG and animation. So check out the forums. It's really good to be active in there, and you'll find that everyone is super helpful, and I'm happy to talk to you about stuff. So CTN was last week. I had a great time. Fortunately, I had a little family emergency. I had to duck out. I didn't get to go back Saturday or Sunday, but Friday was awesome. I saw a couple awesome panels, ran into some people, made some friends. Looking forward to doing it again next year. So that means that the only thing, is there more between now and, yeah. I think, well, let me just focus on one thing for now, which is Autodesk University. If you go to autodeskuniversity.com, check out what that is. A lot of people don't know about it because they have only catered to media and entertainment this year. They're starting that track, and it's going to be a lot of training for Maya and 3ds Max users, everything from CG artists to animators and in between. So check out autodeskuniversity.com, and if you do sign up, it's in Vegas, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, which is next week. And if you do sign up, check out my course. You can search for me as a speaker, Kenny Roy, or you can search in the media and entertainment track, and I'll just pop up. Uh-oh, phone. We are a business, so that will happen from time to time. It's going to be a great time, so I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully, some of you there at Autodesk University this year. So, let's jump into it. I had a great time doing the webcast where I did demo reel review for before CTN. Hopefully get a little bit of work, a little critique on your demo, and bring the best work you can to CTN. And so that made me want to answer this question and take a look at some more animation. It's always a lot of fun too. Let's jump right in. A really good question. I think that this is kind of pinpoints, as it were, the crux of the issue in terms of when you're teaching yourself animation, or when you're getting the concepts, when you're going beyond the concepts and trying to start applying them in your own work, because that's a very personal process. Okay, you can get taught everything, and then you have to go and do it. And then that moment when you decide to apply it in a certain way, it kind of gets like ingrained in your workflow. So I'd like to propose a few things. First thing is that to this animator, the first thing is that if you haven't seen the Exaggeration as a workflow tool lecture, it is a really good one. Look in the store for that, and everybody, if you haven't seen that, you should check that out. And basically what that lecture shows you how to do is to do the fishing analogy that I always say. In animation is exactly like fishing, okay? If you saw someone standing on a dock and they just lowered their hook into the water, and then they just like tried to like move it towards the fish and like push it or blow it or splash some water on it or whatever, like you'd think that they are insane, because there's no way that you can push your hook to where the fish are. You have to cast it way over and then reel it in. Okay, animation is the exact same way. Okay, so what exaggeration as a workflow tool kind of teaches you how to do is to cast your reel really far and let that kind of show you new things. Let your animation speak to you. Have a conversation with your work, and the work will grow. Okay, so what I would say is that what I see here is not like bad animation. What I see here is kind of the first step of exaggeration as a workflow tool. It's just you didn't follow through with it. There's kind of across the board exaggeration here, and it's not giving you the mileage that you expected it to. It's not actually giving you the power in your poses that you wanted. Okay, and that's fine, because from this point, from this moment, you can go really quickly and really far to get that back in there, to have what I call that, that aha moment, or whatever you want. So this is, but this is really good, and so let's take a close look together and see exactly where to go from here. How to use exaggeration as a workflow tool on this shot. And the specific feedback that you're getting is that people mentioned you could reduce the animation curves by 90% on the head. So here we go. Let's just take a quick look. All right. So let's just watch this a few times and see what we're dealing with here.
Maybe tomorrow really isn't coming, and maybe, just maybe, I've earned the right to live a little before I die. Haven't I?
Okay. Let's watch it one more time, just for good measure here.
Maybe tomorrow really isn't coming, and maybe, just maybe, I've earned the right to live a little before I die. Haven't I? Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Like I said, obviously, this animator's got the knack, and things looking pretty good. But what happened is that all of the emphasis that this animator put into the head to really emphasize kind of like the words as they're coming out has all kind of like piled up, and cumulatively it is way too much. I wouldn't say you should reduce the animation on the head by 90% across the board. That's the wrong reaction, okay? Because nothing should ever be across the board. You can exaggerate little parts of a shot, but you can't exaggerate the whole thing. Just like if the whole thing's exaggerated and it's time to reel in the animation, you don't want to reduce everything. So those kind of like glossing over reactions are no good either way. So let's just start there. I think that the way that you can add to the workflow of using exaggeration as a workflow tool on top of the well, I think the way you can add to that is to also start thinking a little bit more in smartly, like in a way that you're using kind of like body mechanics and performance and body language to be your guide as to how to reduce that. So here's what I mean. If her head is moving a lot, right, and everybody at home, everybody watching this, if you've animated a shot and you clearly have like too much going on in the head, then maybe what you can do is, if you want those moments of emphasis on the head to survive a little bit through to the end of the shot, put it on the head, but then use the body to kind of pull that out of the head and put it back into the body. I always say that you should use the biggest, like I say controller, because relates to how we actually create animation, so it makes a lot of sense, and people understand what I'm saying. But I always say you should use the biggest controller to do all of your actions that you can. Don't use a finger to do what you can do with like a wrist. Don't use your wrist what you can do to use your elbow. Don't use just your elbow to do what you can do with your shoulder, and don't just use your arm, something that you can really build into the body and make the overall body language kind of like contribute to, or really be the basis of. The foundation is in the body always, or hopefully it is. Okay, so here's the point. If you've cast your line way over the fish and now it's time to reel it in, and the result is what I see in front of me, which is it is too much overall movement on the head. Reduce it using that great understanding of body language to push that, to take it out of the head, but put it in the body. So you actually cumulatively don't lose any of that pow, any of that bang that you're going for. All right. The number one mistake is for people to take it too far. Is to think that if they exaggerate, they're getting one-to-one power, like one-to-one mileage out of every single choice they're making. But that's not true. That's not how it works, is it? So taking a close look, what I would say is, let me turn on annotate here so we can see. Okay.
And maybe, just maybe.
Okay, so just maybe. She does this like head back and forth thing on just maybe. Perfect example, okay? What you can do instead of having her like just maybe is, it sounds to me like she has kind of this, a little bit of like a kicking it into a new gear in terms of the emotion. Because she's like, maybe, just maybe, it builds on that, and that's a perfect moment to think to yourself, you know what, I need to go more into the body. So tone down the head, sure, and change it from just head, just maybe, to just maybe, and then see that body emphasizes it way stronger than the head ever could. We read it more as well as humans. We read it so strongly because what we do is we watch people's eyes. We like go back and forth between the eyes and down to the mouth and then back up, and we're basically just in that triangle all the time, and sometimes searching the face and that kind of stuff, and sometimes watching gestures, but we are really good at peripherally watching body language and gestures. If there's nothing there for us to see, we don't really pick up as much of the emotion as well as an animator you would want us to. So that's what I would do at that moment.
Just maybe.
Just maybe get that body movement, like maybe this bit kind of like build, but then this sinking, showing that she just is it's gone into a higher gear of that emotion, right? And then tone down that head by like half, or even a little bit more, like 75%, take it down. Not 90%, and not 90% across the board. Find the next moment where you need to make an adjustment. Let's go on.
I've earned the right.
Okay, so I've earned, that's good for the head tilt, but the head tilt can be put on top of a little bit more body. Maybe, just maybe, I've earned, and that little shift in the shoulders. Again, read so much more strongly and quickly, really, peripherally by the audience when it's body language, not the head.
The right to live a little before I die.
The right to live a little before I die. Again, you did the exact right thing you should do. You cast your line really far, that head is super exaggerated, before I die. Perfect time. End the shot on a strong note, a strong body language shift, show the finality of it, show how serious this moment is, and that exhaustion and everything that's built up to her saying, realizing that she is going to die and she wants to just do what she wants to do. And not in the head, before I die. That's not reading as strong as before I die. And you'll need the head. Keep the head up as a part of it, but make it work together. Okay? Cool. Yeah, so overall, you do not have to believe that what you are doing in the end is actually losing the push or the power or the bang for your buck if you start taking this exaggeration out. You need to start instead knowing what you're doing when you're putting that exaggeration in, and develop a workflow that accounts for reeling in all of these big gestures and broad movements that you've put in. You've got to account for that. You can't put it in and forget about it, fix it later. You've got to know when you're working and you're putting stuff in, exactly that keyframe or that curve, it's destiny. All right, that's workflow. I might want to check out the workflow walkthrough lectures as well, now that I think about it. But this was a great question. I'm really glad you brought it to my attention. So if you have a question like this or anything at all, you can even send me your Maya file if you're stuck on a scene. Send it to webmaster@kennyroy.com. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot. Good luck with your animation, and as always, rock on.